know how this story goes, where a doctor creates a creature who's a monster in behavior, spreading havoc and overpowering the creator in the end. Oh, you think that's too much insight? I'm gonna spoil it so good for you. If you find this analysis interesting, do like and subscribe. Give me your comments and critiques down below. The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde by R.L. Stevenson is a novel that sparks curiosity and interest in kids and adults alike. Staying true to its gothic genre, it is a book that shows controversial topics in the limelight. So let's dive in deeper. This is a story that largely deals with class. Distinction amongst classes is highlighted in diverse ways by the author. The dichotomy of the city they live in is a great example for this. One side of the city has freshly painted shutters, well-polished brasses, and it is of general cleanliness and gaiety. Dr. Jekyll's room is the pleasantest room in London. Almost all the characters except the maids and servants belong to the middle class or higher, and they live on the pleasant side. And on this side lives Dr. Jekyll, Sir Carrew, all the big shots, the well-to-dos. Meanwhile, the other side has sinister block buildings and is shady in general. There is a suggestion by how rich one side looks over the other, those two classes distinctly different to each other in status and finance live on either side. With this geographical difference runs another distinction, the dichotomy of good and bad. On the shady side is where incidents of blackmailing that are related in the story occur. The old dissecting room door that is used by Hyde starts on the shady side of the city, leading into Jekyll's house that is grounded on the margin of these two boundaries. It acts as a symbol, a pathway that Jekyll uses to travel from good to bad. Once we realize that they are one and the same person, the line, hard to say where one ends and one begins, used in relation to the two sides of the city, is very applicable to the two main characters as well. In fact, this setting acts as a symbol of Jekyll and Hyde. As we read on, we realize that Dr. Jekyll is a respectable man in an unrespectable position. Not only him, but we see some lords and sirs facing harassment, being blackmailed on the other side of the city, meaning that they have secretly trespassed. It shows that, despite the clear-cut distinction of boundaries they try to maintain, evil lurks in all classes, either openly as in the shady side or disguised and hidden under morality in the respectable side. This game of hide and seek is what Jekyll plays as well. The story, as it moves deeper into the plot, shows how this undisturbed upward mobility, where he is blessed with money, status, good name, etc., is what leads to his egoistic creation, Mr. Hyde. Seeking for more in an attempt to outdo God, he creates Hyde. Insatiateness of human nature is very visible through his character. Even though outwardly he is known to be a generous lord, showing every sign of capacity and kindness, is respectable and is well built, we see him revealing, towards the end of the story, how he concealed my pleasures and committed to a profound duplicity of life. The moment where he says that he shared with him some of the phenomena of consciousness, once again it leads us back to the line, hard to say where one ends and one begins. It problematizes the distinction of good and bad because these two characters seem to be of either extreme, yet they share a conscience. It gets worse as we see that Jekyll, separated fully from Hyde, is not so perfect either. He despises his creation Hyde and says it has no nameable malformation. He believes in the idea of man as a performative self, where man is not truly one but truly two. Going by this, he creates Hyde, for one, to show his scientific prowess, and two, for his own selfish desires, thinking that the unjust might go his way. What he does as Hyde is hidden in the shadows. Yet, he fails in making both of these intentions work, because trying to play God, he creates Satan, a demonic monster who overpowers him. In fact, he seeks salvation in God at the end, praying and saying, "I swear to God." He loses not only himself, but his identity to his own creation. The man who said, "I cannot say that I care what becomes of Hyde. I was thinking about my character." The man who wrote a will in the name of Hyde, thinking only of his own betterment. The man who misunderstood his creation altogether, saying that Hyde's love for life is wonderful. The man who used Hyde as his vehicle, his vessel, to do wrong all the while. Is he really a man, or was he the monster who took use of an innocent being? Was his disguise of respect and grandeur worthwhile in the end? That is what the author questions. Stevenson also, on the side, sheds light on the fact that science cannot overpower God. Man has his limits, and good and bad both need to exist in man and are not so easy to separate. That is why, even reluctantly, Jekyll has to accept, "This too was myself." Going by the same analysis on good and bad, Hyde is depicted on the outside as bad, similar to how the shady place is interpreted. From his name to his appearance, he is on the margins. He is like an animal, hissing, growling, ape-like, and furry. He is often referred to as "it" by Jekyll. He has flushes of anger. He is deformed, smaller, and younger, aspects that highlight his evilness. As he has no baggage, emotions, morals to uphold, he is younger, sweeter, and happier in his own way. Adding to this is the class distinction, where the man without a status is metaphorically small. He is able to trample over a child's body. He has no conscience to dictate morality. Yet we see the same blurry line between good and bad in him as well. He, for one, is given a title. He is a Mr. Hyde despite his outshone behavior. This is the first hint that the author offers us to say maybe he is not so bad. In the end, Hyde wins the race of survival. He overpowers Jekyll. Yet, he sacrifices his life to the man who used him to run all havoc in the city, simply because he does not want to ruin Jekyll's character. This selfless action shows the line between good and bad amazingly. He never tries to claim his identity as he once declares, "He, I say, I cannot say I." He is dehumanized and voiceless for the most part of the story, and his perspective on the course of events is never given. So in fact, we can say that he is marginalized from status, appearance, respect, identity, and what not, and he is labeled as the minority in every way. But his last action of selflessness questions the morality of the so-called good character and bad character. This whole scenario touches on the good old theme of appearance and reality, where what we see is often deceiving. Jekyll is not a saint, and nor is Hyde a complete monster. So one question is, why does Hyde win? Undoubtedly, he wins the sympathy of the readers, but he also wins this race of life over Jekyll. He takes over the body. One good reason is because he is younger than Jekyll, because of the baggage that I told he doesn't carry. It is also a lesson of sorts to show that evil triumphs, and in this case, it is not only Hyde that is shown as evil, but science itself. It instills a sort of fear in doing the unknown, in engaging in scientific research. It is to be noted that back then, when the novel was written, practitioners of medicine, doctors, scientists were seen as people going against the will of God. It suggests that only God can create a man with the perfect mix of good and evil, and the man who tries to separate the two and create an upgraded version will undoubtedly fail. The writer shows what the educated man's stance on religion should be through Lanyon, Jekyll's friend. That is, faith over reason and science. This is why the moment he sees Jekyll's transformation to Hyde, he goes crazy and his beliefs in science and civilization collapse. His worldview is destroyed. Simply, the message is not to use science for the wrong thing. So, problematizing the Victorian morals and maintaining curiosity from beginning to end, Stevenson teaches us one lesson, if not many. Life is yin and yang, a fine mixture of both good and bad. Where good doesn't lie, neither can bad remain, hence proving why neither Jekyll nor Hyde can live without the other. With that ends my reading on the strange case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you want more content like this. Thank you.